Assalamu alaikum class 9 students. I hope you all will be fine, safe and sound. Okay, beta, today we have to do a topic. The topic is about significance of transpiration. Significance of transpiration, and this is given on page number 176 in your book. Okay, beta. We will start the significance. Before that, we had discussed about the concept of transpiration, and I have told you that the loss of water through stomata on the surface of the leaf by evaporation process, that is called transpiration. Now today we will discuss the significance of transpiration. Significance means importance of transpiration. So the first line of this topic is that transpiration is called a necessary evil. So you have to underline this statement. Sometimes this question comes in a board exam, and in that question they ask you, transpiration is called a necessary evil. Prove this statement. So you should not confuse at that time. Its answer is same. Significance of transpiration. And if the question comes, transpiration is called a necessary evil. Prove this statement. Both questions have same answer. Okay. Now we will discuss why it is called a necessary evil. First is the introduction of significance. Transpiration is called a necessary evil. Why? Because it means that transpiration is a potentially harmful process but is unavoidable too. Simple is that we know this thing that all plants needs plenty of water for their growth, for their respiration, for their photosynthesis process. But transpiration is a process in which the plants, the leaves lost their water. So transpiration is called a necessary evil. Means it is an evil, but it is necessary. It is important part of the plant. Why it is important for the plant? Because due to this process, plants reduce their metabolic waste from their body. So underline in your book, transpiration is called a necessary evil. It means that transpiration is a potentially harmful process but is unavoidable too. Now we will discuss how transpiration is harmful, how it can be harmful. Okay, come to the next paragraph. Transpiration may be a harmful process in the sense that during the conditions of drought, loss of water from the plant results in serious desiccation, wilting, and often death of the plant. Transpiration is harmful if there is excess water is lost by the body of a plant. So what is happened? It can produce the conditions of drought. Loss of water from the plant results in serious desiccation. Okay, it means there is minimum amount of water left in the body of a plant. Wilting, it means the leaves began to twist inside and outside, and often death of the plant, and sometimes many plants can be dead. So these important situations can be created due to the transpiration. Okay, in next paragraph we will discuss how is transpiration necessary, why it is necessary, and what is happened in the process of transpiration. So before starting this paragraph, first we'll discuss the definition of transpirational pull. What is a transpirational pull? It creates a pulling force called transpirational pull, which is principally responsible for the conduction of water and salts from roots to the aerial parts of the plant body. We all know this thing, transpiration. Transpiration means loss of water from the surface of the leaves, but before this process, transpirational pull is happen inside the body of a plant. Why it is important? Because we know this thing that all organic materials, salts and minerals are produced in the soil. So when these particles are mixed with water, so they come into conducting tissue, they come into the xylem tissues. So the movement of these particles from roots to xylem tubes, that is called transpirational pull. That process is called transpirational pull. And in the next paragraph, we will discuss about the cooling effect. What is the cooling effect? When water transpires from the surface of the plant, it leaves a cooling effect on plant. This is especially important in warmer environment. Simple is that when there is a very hot day, when there is a hot sunshine for the whole day, so when the leaves transpires, when they lose their water from their body, because of that, it left a cooling effect on the surface of the leaf. Then the rate of transpiration, and we also discuss in our previous topic, in which we discuss the effects which can affect the activity of transpiration, in which we have discussed if the temperature is raised, the transpiration will be raised. If the temperature is less, then the rate of transpiration will be decreased. So in this point, we can say when water transpires from the surface of the plant, it leaves a cooling effect. Definitely, the water will be lost, the metabolic waste will be lost, and it will left cooling effect on the plant. So this is especially important in warmer environment. So this is happen in warmer environment commonly. The next point is that gaseous exchange. So how gaseous exchanges happen? We wet surfaces of leaf cells allow gaseous exchange. Wet surfaces of leaves allow gaseous exchange. So keep in your mind how gaseous exchange happen in the surface of the leaf, in and out. It is happen due to the wet surfaces. So when there is transpiration, it's happen in the surface of the leaf. So definitely the water will be evaporate and it will be left the cooling effect on the surface of the leaf. And due to that, the leaf will become wet. So if the leaf is wet, it can also responsible for gaseous exchange. So you have discussed in three important points in the significance of transpiration. First, we have discussed the introduction of transpiration. It is called a necessary evil, and you also have to underline for your board exam. This also comes as a long question. Then we discuss how transpiration is harmful. This point we have discussed in second paragraph. Third point is that how is transpiration necessary? Why it is necessary? We have discussed these things in last paragraph, and in last paragraph three important points are given. First is transpiration pull. Transpiration pull is happened when the when the organic materials and metabolic particles and minerals are pulled by the xylem tubes from the soil. So at that time, and we all of know in xylem tubes only water can be moved. So due to that, osmosis is happen, and the pulling of these particles from roots to the aerial parts of the plant, that is called transpirational pull. And then we discuss the cooling effect. Once a leaf is transpired, then it has a cooling effect. So how gaseous exchange is happen in the surface of the leaf. So these are happen in the surface of the leaf due to the when the surface of the leaves become wet. Now you can see this is given. You can also see a side box. There is strong evidence that even mild water stress results in reduced growth rate in plants. There is strong evidence, this is a proof, that even mild water stress results in reduced growth rate in plants. Okay, so also have to keep in mind. Now come to page number 181. Now this is page number 181. Okay, from page number 177 to page number 180. There are practicals which is given in your book. So the next topic which we have to discuss, it is given on page number 181, and that is about transport of water. Now we will discuss that how water is transported in the whole body of the plant. Okay, so for this purpose we will discuss the cohesion tension theory. Okay, so look at the screen. First is the introduction is given, how transport of water in plants take place. First is introduction, the process by which water is raised to considerable heights in plants can be explained by cohesion tension theory. Okay, the process by which, underline your, water is raised to considerable heights in plants. Considerable heights. We all of know some plants are very huge, some are small, some are tall, some are thick. Okay, so so how the water can reach in all parts of the plant. So a process through which the water is raised to considerable heights in plants can be explained by cohesion tension theory. So we can explain this process with the help of cohesion tension theory. So this theory is given in your book. Okay, transport of water. This result is cohesion tension theory. So what is this theory? So look at here. According to this theory, okay, and look at your book. According to this theory, and you also have to underline in your book. This is also important for your short question. And this question comes in the comes in your exams that define cohesion tension theory. So this is very important. Right here, important. So according to this theory, the force which carries water. Okay. So according to this theory, the force which carries water and dissolved materials upward through the xylem is transpiration flow. We know this thing that all organic materials are produced in the soil, because fertile soil has many organic materials and minerals inside it. So when they are mixed with roots and they are dissolved in water, so these all materials are pulled by the xylem tubes. So the pulling of xylem tubes to organic materials to the aerial parts of the plant, that is called a transpiration pull. So according to this theory, the force which carries water upward through the xylem is transpiration pull. This is true. We know this thing, that the things which are pulled by the xylem tubes, that is called transpiration pull. So transpiration creates a pressure difference that pulls water and salts up from the roots. So for this transpiration pull, at that time, transpiration creates a pressure difference. So the pressure difference is very important, because the nature of plant is different. Some plants are very tiny, some are very tall, some are thick, some are huge, some are dwarf. So the transpiration rate, the transpiration pull is different in different plants. Some plants who grow in water, who like to live in water, who are hydrophytes, so they need some water, as compared to the plants which grow in desert areas. They have very deep roots, approximately 30-meter deep roots inside the surface. So they have to produce a cohesion tension theory, because of that, to pull that organic materials from the soil to the aerial parts of the plant. So you can understand this is the definition of cohesion tension theory. Underline in your book. According to this theory, the force which carries water upward through the xylem is transpiration pull. Transpiration creates a pressure difference that pulls water and salts up from the roots. Now its explanation, which is given in next page. Look at your book. The explanation of cohesion tension theory. Okay, it is starting from page number 81 to page number 182. So first of all, I will explain you from page number 181 how this is happen. When a leaf transpires, so definitely what is the meaning of transpire? When a leaf loses its water, the water concentration of its mesophyll cells drops. I also have told you in the center of the cell, if you see this diagram, this is a structure of a leaf, okay, and you can see, okay, there is a midrib, and uh, these are the veins present on the surface and the surface of the leaf. Here are some stomata, and there are many large cells which are called mesophyll cell, and these all cells are surrounded by water molecules around it. Okay, so when there is leaf transpires, when it loses its water, so at that time the water which is present in mesophyll cells, it is also dropped, it is also decreased. So this drop causes water to move by osmosis from the xylem cells, and we all of know osmosis is a process in which the movement of molecules, water molecules is happened, and it is a movement of from higher concentration to lower concentration. So when the leaf transpires, when it loses its water, so the water which is present in mesophyll cells, it is also dropped. So the drop water from mesophyll cells is went to xylem tubes through osmosis process, and we all of know xylem tubes are present in the stem. Okay, so this water to move by osmosis from the xylem cells of leaf into the mesophyll cells. When one water molecule moves up in the xylem of the leaf, it creates a pulling force. So when one water molecule moves up in the xylem of the leaf, okay, so it produces a pulling force, and that pulling force is called a transpiration pull. So this pulling force created by the transpiration of water is called transpirational pull. It also causes water to move transversely. Transversely means opposite, from root epidermis to cortex and pericycle. From root epidermis, we also discuss the methods. If you keep in your mind the structure of a root, internal structure of a root, okay. You can also see transpiration pool is produced. Okay, so if you keep in your mind the internal structure of a root, in which we have discussed the outer layer of the root, in which we have discussed about the outer layer of the root that is made by epidermis, then there is a cortex and there is a pericycle. So when a one water molecule transfer to the xylem cells, so at that time due to this movement, this is transfer means this movement is happened from root to epidermis to cortex and then pericycle. Okay, you can also understand this thing with the help of a diagram. You can also see this is a plant, okay, and you can see the part of this plant is under the ground. This is called root. So here is a structure of transport of root, how in root the water is transported. So you can see the structure of root consists of different layers. Okay, first of all, this is epidermis, then there is a cortex, and the last one is a pericycle. Okay, and it is a swipe. So the water enters through the root from all these three layers. So this is a transversely procedure. Okay, and in this diagram you can see it is about the stem, and in stem we all of know there is a conducting tissues. One is called xylem and other is called phloem. So in this diagram you can see xylem tube having small diameter. Okay, you can also see these are a xylem tube, their diameter is very so small. So you here can see adhesion, cohesion, tension theory. Cohesion means the pressure of water, and tension means the ratio of water is increased in this point. And next one you can see, this is a diagram, the aerial parts of a plant. Okay, and these are the surface of the leaf. So in the surface of the leaf you can see how transpiration is happened. So here are these are the small parts are called stomata, and these are the mesophyll cell. So the excess water which is present inside these parts, it is transported to one cell to the another cell. Okay, so this is the whole process in which This is a whole process in which transpiration pull is happen inside the body of a plant. Okay, so you can see in your diagram, I am repeating this process. When a leaf transpires, the water concentration of its mesophyll cells drops. This drop causes water to move by osmosis from the xylem cells of leaf into the mesophyll cells. When one water molecule moves up in the xylem of the leaf, it creates a pulling force that continues all the way to the root. This pulling force created by the transpiration of water is called transpirational pull. It also causes water to move transversely from one epidermis to cortex and pericycle. Now we will discuss the reasons. So these reasons are given in your book. You can see on the screen. Now we will discuss the reason. Following are the reasons for the creation of transpiration pool. Now we will discuss what are the reasons how transpiration is happen. So the first reason is that water is held in a tube that has small diameter. First of all, water cannot stay in the body of a plant. It can stay due to the xylem tubes because xylem tubes has a small diameter. Secondly, water molecules adhere to the walls of xylem tubes adhesion. And you can also see in the diagram, this is a diagram of xylem tube, and the walls of the xylem cell produce the adhesion, adhere the walls of the molecules along with the cells. Okay, and the third point is that which is given reason water molecules cohere to each other. So water molecules cohere means to attract to each other. They make the movement, they make the pressure inside the body of a plant. These attractions allow an overall tension among water molecules and form columns of water. So due to that, they produce a pressure of water molecules inside the xylem vessels and they make a column. You can see there is one column and that is another column. Okay, so what is happened? These are the walls of the xylem cells. So what is happened? They produce a adhesion pressure inside it and tension pressure inside it. So because of that, these water molecules are produce cohesion tension theory inside the xylem vessels and they make a column. They both make a column. Okay. Now you will see okay, what is happened. These three important reasons are given. First, water is held in a tube, xylem that has a small diameter. Definitely these tubes are narrow, so water can hold in them for a long time. So water molecules adhere to the walls of the xylem tubes. So definitely they adhere. So due to their adhesion is produced and water molecules cohere to each other means they began to make link with each other. They make the pressure inside the xylem tubes. They produce a transpiration pool in the xylem cells. So because of that, cohere and cohesion pressure is produced. And overall, this theory is called cohesion tension theory. So these attractions allow an overall tension among water molecules. Okay, these all attractions produce what did they produce? They produce attraction among the water molecules. So the columns of water move from root to shoot. So because of that, what is happened? That happened that water molecules move from root to shoot. This is a shoot. Okay, so this all process we all of know that roots always grow under the ground and there is a fertile soil, so all organic materials are produced over here. These have all minerals inside it, so they all are dissolved in the root hairs. So from different layers you can also, these are the different layers of the root, they passes through them and then they become the part of the shoot, and in the shoot there is a xylem vessels which are responsible to take water to the aerial parts of a plant. So in this here in the walls of the xylem cell, Adhesion-Kension theory is produced. So due to the attractions in the water molecules, the pressure is produced, and this pressure is called transpiration force. It means this part of the plant pulls the organic material minerals from the soil to the shoot, and then it take up to the all aerial parts of the plant. Okay, so when the water comes from surface of the leaf to the xylem vessel, that process is called osmosis. And when the water is produced and goes to the aerial parts of it, this is called a transversely movement of the water molecules in the body of a plant. I hope you understand this topic. Now next topic is that transportation of food. Okay, now your next topic is that transport of food. Okay, you can see in your book transport of food. It is given on page number 183. You can also see how food is transported. We all of know that in the stem there are two types of tubes are present. Collectively they are called conductive tissues. First is called xylem tubes. Okay, you can see they are shown in the figure in the yellow form. And the second one is phloem tubes. So xylem tubes are responsible for to take up from aerial parts, take up water from root to the aerial parts of a plant. And phloem, definitely they are directly connected to the leaf, because leaf is responsible to make food by photosynthesis. So this food is comes into phloem tubes and then goes to the lower part of the plant. Now we will discuss this whole process in transport of food. How is it happen? So first look at the screen. Phloem is responsible for transporting food substances throughout the plant. Phloem is a two-way street for food. In most plants, the food is transported in the form of sucrose. So I will explain you again. If you see the diagram, this is a diagram of a leaf. Okay, in the center of a leaf, it is a midrib, and these are called the veins, and there are also tiny holes which are called stomata. But here we are talking about the food, how the plants make the food. So all plants has a mesophyll cell. You can also see it's a figure of a mesophyll cell. It is in a large size as compared to stomata. In the center of the under the mesophyll there is a chemical chlorophyll is present. The function of chlorophyll is that to absorb more and more light for the body of a plant. Okay, so when they absorb more sunlight, so they make glucose at daytime, glucose and sucrose. So this sucrose then goes into phloem tubes, and then it convert into the food particles. Okay, so it is a structure of a mesophyll cell. You can also see it is a main source for make food. Under the mesophyll cell there is a chlorophyll which absorb more and more sunlight for making the food, and then first the food comes in the form of glucose and then convert into sucrose. Now we will discuss here what is happened with the transportation of food. So in most plant the food is transported in the form of sucrose. So mostly it is transported in the form of sucrose. Now we will discuss the importance of food. The glucose formed during photosynthesis in mesophyll cells and is used in respiration, and excess of it is converted into sucrose. As I told you in the figure, mostly the chlorophyll is present here, so the mostly it is absorbed by the absorbed from the sunlight. Okay, so first of all the important function of glucose is that the glucose formed during photosynthesis. So when there is a photosynthesis is happening, at that time glucose is making inside the mesophyll cells. Then extra mostly the glucose is used in the formation of with the help, mostly glucose is made with the help of sunlight, and the excess glucose which is that is converted into sucrose. The glucose formed during photosynthesis in mesophyll cell and is used in respiration. So the glucose which is collected due to sunlight, that is mostly used for respiration, and if excess glucose is left, then it is converted into sucrose. It will convert into in the form of sucrose. Now we will discuss the pressure flow mechanism. What is a pressure flow mechanism? You can also see it is given in your book. It is also another very important short questions. Pressure flow mechanism. So what is this? I will explain you. Pressure flow mechanism. In pressure flow mechanism, the food is moved from sources to sinks. In pressure flow mechanism, the food is moved from sources to sink. Now, sources and sink is a new word. What is sources and what is sinks? First of all, I will explain you what are sources. The sources include the exporting organs, typically a mature leaf or storage organ. A storage organ is capable of storing food, exporting the stored minerals. Sources means, you can also see its definition on next page. Look at your book, page number, come to page number 184. Okay, bete, look at here. This is given a source, sources. Okay, what is a source? Source means include the exporting organs. Exporting organ means who provide food particles to the body of a plant. Okay, so exporting organs during so the sources include the exporting organs, typically a mature leaf or storage organ. And we also know this thing when the body of a plant is formed. So in the body of a plant, in a new plant, there is a, in the ovary there is an endosperm. Endosperm is a nucleus which provide all particles to the embryo, and further it will convert into a form of seed. So sources means include the exporting organ, a mature leaf or storage organ. A storage organ is capable of storing food and exporting the stored materials. Now, what is sink? You can also see in your book, the definition is given. Sinks, what is a sinks? Sinks are the areas of active metabolism or storage. For example, roots, tubers, developing fruits and leaves, and the growing regions. Sinks are the areas of active metabolism. Active metabolism means the part of the area of the plant where the mostly food is stored and transported to other parts of the plant. Okay, and these areas are, they can be roots, they can be tubers, underground stems are called tubers, developing fruits and leaves, and the growing region. Similarly, root of beet. Example is given, root of beet is a sink in first growing season but becomes source in the next growing season when sugars are utilized in the growth of new shoots. So this is the show. You have to write here short question, differentiate between sources and sinks. This is very important. You have to mark in your book sources and sinks. Okay, what is the difference between two? Now I will explain you explanation of pressure flow mechanism. Okay, you can also see the explanation. This is explanation is given. It is started from here. Explanation of the pressure flow mechanism and the source. The food is moved by active transport into the sieve tubes of flume at the source. So what is the source in the plant? That is a leaf where the food is formed, where the food is stored. So the food is transferred from the leaf to the sieve tubes by the process which is called active transport. I explained you this line in a simple words. The food is stored, the food is prepared by the leaves in the surface of the leaf with the help of a chemical which is called chlorophyll, and due to that glucose is collected in the surface of the leaf, and glucose is used for the respiration of the plant, and the excess glucose which is left that convert in the form of sucrose and then is transported to the sieve tubes. Okay, so what is happen in the soul? So when the food is moved by active transport, so the transportation of food from the surface of the leaf to the sieve tube, that process is called active transport. Okay, and at that time, due to the presence of sugar in sieve tubes, their solute concentration increases and water enters from xylem via osmosis. So definitely, when the sucrose is entered in the sieve tube, so sucrose is a form of sugar, so it has sugar molecules inside it. So when they are mixed with water, they can increase the size of they can increase the pressure of the osmosis inside the sieve tubes. And I told you again and again, osmosis is a process in which water molecules movement is happen, and it is a process in which the movement is happen from higher concentration to lower concentration. So due to the presence of sugar in sieve tube, their solute concentration increases. Okay, and water enters from xylem via osmosis. This results in high pressure in these tubes, which drives the solution towards sink. So due to that, there is a high presentation of high pressure of water molecules in the sieve tubes, and due to that, this process is called sink. So I think you have to know about the difference between sink and source. Source is the part of that area which is called exporting organ, which transport material to the body of a plant, and sink is that area which use that transported materials. For example, roots need food. For example, leaves need food, stem need food, flowers need food. Stem need food, flowers need food, fruits need food. So sinks are those areas which require the food, and source is that organ of the plant of a body which provide food particles to the body of a plant. So it is a difference between sinks and sources. So at the sink's end, the food is unloaded by active transport. Water also exists from the sieve tube. This decreases the pressure in sieve tubes, which causes a mass flow from the higher pressure at the source of the now lower pressure at the sink. So this is the whole mechanism of the pressure flow mechanism. You can also see the side box which is given. You can see here xylem is a one-way street from roots to leaf for water and salts. So underline in your book, xylem is a one-way. It is not a two-way process. One-way street from roots to leaves. It works from roots to leaves for water and salts. Phloem is a two-way street for food. The direction of the movement of food is decided by supply and demand in source and sinks. Keep in your mind, this is another difference between xylem and phloem. Xylem is a one-way passage which works from roots to leaves, and transpiration fully happen inside it, and because of that it get all materials and provide to all aerial parts of the plant. But if you see phloem tubes, it is a double path. It gets the food from the leaves, transport to xylem tubes, take up to the roots, then again it absorbed by the roots by the process of sinks, and then it take back to the source, that is a leaf, that can be flower, that can be food. So phloem is a double passage which work with the help of sources and sinks, but xylem is a single passage which work from roots to leaves. Now you can see another box given in your book. Plants need a lot of water. Young brassica plants take up an amount of water equal to their shoot weight in about 5 hours. If that applied to us, we would have to drink 3 gallons of water an hour to stay alive. It's an interesting information. Our plants need a lot of water. It means if there is a young plant of brassica, brassica means mustard plant. Brassica is a scientific name of mustard plant. So a mustard plant, the early young mustard plant, needs about water approximately to its weight. So if we guess, if we take the amount of water, it is equal to 3 gallons of water NR to stay alive. It means it needs 3 gallons of water NR to stay alive. And look at another information. Look at another information given in your book. You can see here is according to the pressure flow mechanism. What is the actual force behind the movement of food in flowing? So what is the force? You can also see in your book. It is given in your book. So what will be the answer? According to the pressure flow mechanism, what is the actual force behind the movement of food in flowing? So the answer is drop in the pressure at the sink end. So when we drop the pressure of the sink in the end. So this is the force which work at the same time. I hope you understand the today's lecture. Now your lecture has been ended. In our next lecture, we will discuss our new topic, that is about the uh, transportation mechanism of transportation in humans. I will give you just the introduction of transportation in human. Definitely, we all humans need blood to alive, because all oxygen is dissolved in the blood, and our blood consists of 3 different types of cells. First are red blood cells, second are white blood cells, and the third are platelets. Now we will discuss in detail in our next lecture. I hope you understand the lecture. If you have any confusion, you can ask the question. Thank you so much. Participants doing it. Alice. Leave meeting के cancel. Any meeting.